I'm actually thinking about like going back to.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. I was actually thinking about going back to these.
Yeah, they're pretty.
They're just
solid.
convenient.
Yeah, you
also,
find them everywhere.
I have a bunch of dumbasses now on the podcast that don't know how to use a mic.
Mm.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say anything, but he sounded pretty low.
he's holding the mic, and he's not like this. Like he has it like right here.
Oh yeah. The mic etiquette is not real.
That's true. Well, we'll see.
You didn't give him the orientation.
That's the problem. I did. The next one we're doing though, I think should be. I give him the good mic.
Instead of teaching them,
Just give him
the better mic. I know how to.
I don't have time for that shit, you know.
But I mean, we were started rolling, so we're here. Another episode, Heights Project Shop Talk. Today it's gonna be more of an actual shop in the sense that I got a couple questions for our podcast friend over here. We've talked about him in the past, like what, 2 or 3 episodes already.
Damn, on my back, my ear was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then just good things. One because of the Rev and Philo movie, and I mean, one of the big reasons we were bringing you up is because you guys were actually one of the big reasons why we decided to come into podcasting. Not that it's the easiest thing in the world, but we were like, well, we saw your guys' setup and we're like, dude, we could do this too. Like, we've always wanted to do it. So we were like,
honestly, if you would have looked at anybody at that time looking at our setup, we were like, I could do this if these dumbasses are doing it.
Dude, I remember we left the first time we went to your house, and we left. My bro was all like, Alex was, damn, dude, they literally just had like mics and their phones.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like, I could do that shit.
Yeah,
And we're like, yeah, dude. And yeah, like a month later, he went and buy everything. And he's like, oh, we got it. Now we can talk to people.
Well, you know what's crazy about that? So, like the podcasting at the time it wasn't that it wasn't out there, but it wasn't as
There wasn't.
Like the mainstream exploded now. Like
everybody has a podcast
now. At that time, like there were some. Joe Rogan was still the biggest one out there.
Oh, for sure.
It still is, but when we were doing it, like I had this idea to do this for the longest time, and then when I finally met Rev and we got shit together, it really was just, let's just do this, dude. It really was. So like even now, like what you have now, this setup that we're doing, this is like far beyond what we were doing. Like like legit, there was times where we recorded things on an interface. I will tell you that the interface, we did drop some money on that. That we probably should, like, if I were to go back and do this over again, I wouldn't drop that amount of money. I don't even want to say it. It sounds so stupid that we spent that much money, and I still have it and I can use it. But anyway, where was I going? Just lost my train.
What was happening?
Yeah, I mean, in other words, we were just like, let's just do this. And there was times where our audio even went out and we were using the audio straight from the phones. So I don't know if you guys have a backup audio. That's if I can give anybody a tip for doing podcasts, is to have backup audio.
I never thought about that.
Fuck video, fuck the mics, fuck all that, dude. It's having a backup audio. Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, we technically do. So the Riverside app would be our main source of the audio, and then the pod track, because that is something you brought up. You asked me like, oh, do you have this? And I was like, oh, well, we have the pod track, and then it goes into the Riverside app, so it has an audio file and the video file. So we're kind of we're trying. We're definitely trying.
Nah, but you guys have a really good setup. Honestly, I'm impressed. I am impressed.
We're pretty happy about that. We took, because of the amount of time that we stress about it and stuff. We're like, all right, we got something going good.
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah, and the amount of stress that comes with it, like especially bringing in, like I don't know how nervous you felt for me to come in.
Oh, pretty nervous.
But yeah, dude, there's a tremendous anxiety, like having people in. Like when it was me and Rev,
right,
and then we had somebody come in. Like even you guys, like we had you guys in, like there was this amount of anxiety just to be, because I didn't know what you guys expected from us, so I didn't know what any guests expected from us, but there was always this, fuck, I hope it goes well. I hope they like what we said.
It's always
because that's who, when we did the podcast, when we went to Joe Sports Car.
Yeah, we went to a shop.
We went to a shop because it was their grand opening and stuff, and it was our cousin John's friend. I mean, we kind of hung out with him a couple of times. We went shooting. We had been to his house, but it was like, okay, we're talking about his business. We're trying to, I don't want to say help him, because again, no one's fucking listening to this, so we can say whatever the fuck we want, right? That's the mentality we gotta have. But at the same time, it's like we didn't want to say. I didn't want to say anything that was gonna make them look dumb or make us look dumb, and then have.
We had to be professional, but not too professional. Where they're gonna be like, calm down, dude,
relax.
That's
too. The head mechanic, he's a really good mechanic. Like, he was super talented. Like, he was telling us, oh yeah, look, that truck, I'm gonna put this engine in it, I'm gonna turbo that, I'm gonna do this. But he was kind of drinking because it was a grand opening, right? Yeah. So he was like, it
was a grand opening, and then it's the main mechanic, and then I guess the manager of the shop, which is my cousin's friend. He started a car club, so his car club was there. Yeah. So they had like a barbecue. They were giving food out. They had all their merch, and they were drinking the whole day. So everybody was not drunk, but they were tipsy. They were tipsy.
And I guess they didn't tell. See, and it's funny. Even before, when we were setting up, they didn't tell him. They were just like, "Oh yeah, like it's cool." Yeah. So
I don't know what he thought we were gonna do, but he saw us like pull the mics out and we pull the phone out. He's like, "Oh." He's like, "You guys gonna record?" Yeah. So what are you gonna do? And we're like, "Oh, we're gonna interview you and Nacho." He's like, "Oh, I'm not lying to you, bro. I've been drinking for like 12 hours straight. I've been up since yesterday." And we're like, "Oh, fuck."
What are you guys gonna ask me? Like, what is it? What are the questions? And we're like, "Nah, just like normal mechanic. Like, how did you come up with this? Like, what makes you?" And he was just like, "All right," and he would just like chug his water. Damn. And he was just like, "Oh." But like, what kind of questions? Like, what are they gonna be? I have to know. And we're like, dude, it's literally just a conversation like what we're having right now.
Like, you guys been doing this for a while now, and that
it's all right. Well,
yeah, it's the city.
Yeah, it's the city. You guys know where we're at. It's all good. It gives it that ambiance. It's all right.
Yeah, you guys been doing it for a while. Even me, sometimes I'll forget like how nervous people can be when they get on. Just if you go back, just to plug in the movie real quick, like the Revlo movie, you do see like our friend, R.I.P. Tom Selleck.
Yeah. Oh my God, when he was on, it was a funniest fucking thing ever.
Twice.
Oh my God. I remember telling my brother, I was like, dude, Tom Selleck is one of the guys that just runs his mouth and doesn't stop talking shit the whole time you're talking to him. Yeah. And you put the mic in front of him, and all of a sudden you would be like, yeah, and he'd be like, yeah, and then that's it. They were like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, some people don't talk, you guys met Guap before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same thing, like, he was one of the original people that we were going to have on the podcast.
Yeah.
And, we didn't cut him because I eventually had him on the pod, and he got a little bit better. I mean, when we did the second like little backyard thing. That when he was on that episode,
I remember that.
He was talking better. But when we first had him on, he clammed up. Same thing, like Tom Selleck clammed up. So you forget that some people are not used to, and even like me and Rev, when we did the first couple episodes, there are 3 unofficial episodes that are out there that were never dropped because
we're just like this.
We were just so fucking awkward.
You're just staring at each other.
Pretty much.
So what'd you do today? I went to work. What'd you do today? I worked with you. We were there together.
It was more along the lines of we were trying to figure each other out.
Right.
What is it?
How far can we take
in the beginning? I wanted to be funny. I mean, we started. This is why I like your guys' niche,
right?
Because you guys don't have to be fun.
Oh,
you guys.
We say right.
Yeah, it's. I mean, no, that's great. Yeah, it's entertaining. Obviously, you want to be entertaining, but the thing is that you guys' niche is more of it's cars. Like you give advice,
right?
And that's great. And that's why I like your podcast because I don't know shit about cars. I can go to your podcast and I can like look up things or anyway.
A little insight.
Yeah, but like what we were doing, we were trying to be, we're trying to be funny. We're trying to be comedic. And when you're trying to do that, it's kind of hard, because you're trying to like write things to sound funny, but then it doesn't, if it doesn't come off natural, then it's not good.
Yeah,
what happened in the beginning, we were trying to figure each other out. Like, okay, who's trying to be funny here? Like,
mine you got to figure it out. Like, okay, it's their time or what? Like,
and then eventually we figured out where it was I was the one delivering, like, I was setting it up.
Right.
And then it was knocking him out of the park. Yeah. So eventually that's what worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then to this day that's the dilemma right now is not that Dave and my brother are not good, but like it is kind of hard to find that chemistry. I still wouldn't have brought Mike back, and I feel like if I bring Mike back, that might bring them.
Might lube it up a little bit more.
But in other words, yeah.
But no, it's funny that you say that or you bring that up because the fact, like the last episode you were what is it? The psyops?
Oh, the psyops episode. Yeah.
That you literally like, have you guys seen these videos? And they're kind of like, no, I sent it to you, but look, check this out. And yeah, Dave was just like rolling with it. Like you said, you could tell that you were in command of the show, right? Like okay, I'm gonna bring this topic. I want to hear your guys' thoughts because I know it's gonna be something cool, and then like I'll add to it and stuff. And so you did that. You did do that with Rev, and it did work. And the last time we talked, we said like, oh, we were like, oh damn, like we don't want you to we don't want to pressure you to like, hey, you have to keep doing this, but at the same time it was like, dude, just keep doing it. Like, why?
The cool thing about that is like, well, I'm not gonna lie, I almost was like, it's been so long, no one's gonna remember, like, who cares, like in my mind that's what it was like, who cares. Granted, like I know you guys were very encouraging, amongst other people. There was a lot of people telling me, like, "Hey, when's the next episode?"
Yeah.
The Not Home podcast, Renan, the guy who does the editing, from the start of that, with Dave. He was telling me like, "Yo, when's the next episode? I want to hear something."
Yeah.
And so like there was a lot of encouragement, but the thing is, it was hard to bring it back without Rev.
Right.
And I kind of, in the movie, I kind of explained that a little bit. So when the movie does come out on the 18th, you'll kind of see, what I said. But it does come out where it's hard to move on with Rev without Rev. Because not only was he like a brother to me, but like the Rev and Philo show would not exist without Rev.
Yeah, I mean, his name is
the Revlo Show. So it wouldn't exist without him, and it's kind of hard to move on. And I'm glad, and it's crazy because like the Revlo Show is the Rev and Philo show,
right?
But the Revlo Show, I'm glad we changed that name. Like literally a week before he passed, we were talking about it and how like we wanted to rebrand and create like this network of where we were going to have, like we were considering like asking you guys if you wanted to be a part of the thing where we're going to.
Oh, that would be cool.
Produce your guys' podcast. Now what happened? Obviously, like later, but we were going to ask you guys like, hey, you guys want to do your own?
Like a Revlo,
because there was other people.
Revlo Studios.
Well, there was like Revlo Network is what we were doing. So we were going to ask you guys. There were some other people that were interested in making a podcast that kept talking to Rev and talking to me, and we're like, okay, we can produce that. We have the stuff. We can do it.
We can.
Yeah. And so like that was a lot of stuff we were talking towards the end of his life. We were thinking of doing that. But then tragedy struck it, and this. But I'm glad. And then what really made me come back to it was the movie. I watched the movie. I've watched it twice now. Rory did a phenomenal job.
I mean, just based off the trailers,
dude. Dude, it's so good. And apparently, like, what trips me out is sometimes I feel it's like how you guys said earlier. Like, who the fuck is this? Like, who's this?
Sometimes you just gotta go.
And so I was thinking that, like, what does it matter? And then the first sit down, Rory, and this is what trips me out most about the movie, is what Rory told me. And he says it in the podcast of the episode we came back in.
Yeah.
And he says that he made the movie because he wasn't even sure if he was going to make it a full length or if it was going to be like a short.
Yeah, like a short, like
30, 40 minute, like Rev. And he said he was like, when he had that one interview with me, he was like, this is it. This is a movie.
Yeah,
because of all the things I said.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you have a Bible to read off of.
Yeah, dude. But you know what's crazy is that, like, I know I'm talking a lot right now. I fucking hate to talk.
Yeah. You know what though?
Yeah,
it does. It's. I think it's just part of it, dude. You do say you don't like to talk, but at the same time, like, you're doing a podcast, you realize like you have your own podcast. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, that was what kind of great about that duo. Not that your duo or your team isn't great right now, but the fact that, like we were saying, like you were setting up Rev and you were able to be like,
it's just
hey, so what's up with that new relationship you got going on? And he just.
Yeah, it went on.
It
went on.
It worked. That goes back to just having chemistry, because if you would have had some random dude like, hey, we both like movies or we both like comedy, let's start a podcast, it would not be the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same.
You're right. You're right. Like a lot of the times I always, and I don't go back and listen to those episodes. I don't go back at all. Like for the longest time, and only recently now that I'm okay with.
Wow. Okay.
I've only gone back and listened to maybe 2 episodes.
Right.
And I kick myself. I'm like, damn, just go back, dude. But what it is, obviously it was part of it is me. I didn't really give myself to time to really grieve.
Right.
Like as soon as he passed away, I did that tribute episode, and then I went on to kind of moving on to other episodes. But I think it was me mainly, like I was trying to tell myself, move on, bro. Like move on. Trying to tell myself, like, just go, go, do it. People are saying, continue the podcast.
Yeah.
Do it. And then I did it, and then I stopped, and I didn't have the motivation for it. And again, it's like you said, it's not that I didn't have the team.
Yeah.
I have the support in the team.
Oh, for sure.
You just didn't feel like doing it.
I just didn't feel it.
Yeah. And it makes sense though. I mean, like we're breaking it down. It's like it was the Rev and Philo movie, like the Revs, it was right there in the beginning, right? I think it was more of people telling you like, oh, or us too, like, oh, just keep going. Because like
we were looking at it from a fan's point of view. We weren't from the actual host point of view, like
too personal. But it was kind of personal after you step back and you look at it and you're like, okay, well, it wasn't just a co-host, right? It was like it was a whole person. Like they were actually friends. Like if you look back at the Music Center, whatever you heard in the podcast, like I was telling my brother once, I was like, dude, I think it was like last week or whatever. And I was like, I remember one time I was doing ADA at the Amundsen, and the Amundsen, you know how Homegirl would just kind of let us just hang out in the front. There was like the 2 ticket takers, and it was Rev, it was you, I think Sean, and Sean Lee might have been there, and I don't know what you guys were talking about. I think you guys were talking about porn, dude. And I just, when you're doing,
right.
When you're doing ADA, you're kind of like you walk the house, right, and then you come out or whatever. And I had came out, and you guys are just like, yeah, dude, like not about the story. Sometimes it's just some bullshit. And like I was just like, what did I walk in? And at the time, like I knew you, like obviously we've had Ashley on Zone more, so I talked to Ashley more, but I knew, okay, that's Felipe, and I was like, that's Rev, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do here? I was just like, I don't know. I want to give input, but I don't know what.
I forget a lot about time.
Yeah.
So that is a perfect example of why I myself alone wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Because the group of friends that I have were, as you tell that.
Yeah, at least just stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was going on like 5 minutes before I walked out too.
But it caught your attention.
Yeah, I did.
And that's why, because we would have conversations in the Disney garden.
Oh, for sure.
During our break, we would have conversations, and it would start off with like horrorless. And then we would see
people
around us.
Just gravitate.
And I think it was like we were doing a show.
And I think that was part of it too. Why people were like, just keep going. Because like us, it's like, okay, we don't see you guys often. Like we recently just started talking again, right? Like everything, you started doing the podcast, the movie's coming out. So I'm sure people are reaching out to you again. And it's not that we didn't forget. Like it's just like, damn, when you guys are talking and it's like that, it's kind of like, oh, dude, Dave, like I remember him from here. Like I remember, and we do remember those moments where you're talking and you're just like, oh, what's going on over here? Hey, Pablo, come here. What do you think about this? Like shit like that. And it's like, oh, it's kind of that's always why, like, it's kind of why I wanted to do this podcast too, because if you're in a shop, it's never about working, or it is kind of about working on cars, right? You like working on cars, but it's always about the hang, right? It's always about, oh shit, we fucked this car up. Like, what are we going to do? We got to do this before the boss gets here. And it's always that, like, just the camaraderie of being together. And that's what I think you guys brought.
Well, and that was a part of our, like, not even the description, but it was really like a mission statement.
Yeah.
But where it was like, we want, the world is a depressing place.
Yeah.
Let us take an hour out of your day.
Yeah, just an hour.
Yeah,
hang out with us.
And one of the trailers that you guys put out in the Revlo movie page, I think there's a clip where Rory's asking a bunch of different people, like, oh, what is the podcast about? Or what is it the podcast to you? And some people are like, oh, it's a comedy one. Oh, they review movies. Oh, they review food. Oh, it's just friends, talking. And I like that so much, because you can't say like, oh yeah, these guys, they talk about comedy. They talk about this. It's like, no, they talk about what you would talk about with your friends, or what you and your group of friends would want to talk to with Rev and you.
Yeah,
like there's a conversation that I would have with my brother, or like and I think I told you when we were on your show, when I would listen to you guys' podcast, I would talk to the radio like if I was talking, like if I was there, and I was like, you guys would say something, and I'll be like, "Oh, dude, if I would have said this, like oh, that would have been funny, or that would have. This is a good question to ask." And that's what I like so much about your podcast, because there's other ones where I don't want to put any famous words, but then, we listen to a bunch of podcasts, and there's other ones where it's like, or you're just listening to it. Yeah. Or you're hearing it, but you're not listening to it. You can't relate to it. You can't. Yeah. You can't give an input on what they're talking about. And with yours, every episode, I can relate, or I've been through that, or I've had this conversation before with my brother. Everything was relatable. Everything was relatable.
Yeah. I love that. I'm glad you're telling me that.
Yeah.
Because like really, one of the big. So my biggest inspiration for the podcast, not aside from like making people laugh and feel like comfortable, was more. A radio show called Heidi and Frank.
Oh, I love that.
Yo, dude, I've listened to them since I was a kid. My uncle passed away. He's the one who put me on game.
They're funny.
Like I started listening to them when I was probably 13. And I love their style of radio. I like it. For me, it was like very foreign. That was like the first time because my mom in the morning would take us to school from Mouthgate, and we'd come over here to a Catholic school all the way in Cypress Park, right over here in LA. On the ride over, she would only listen to Big Boy,
but that was on power when we're in the morning.
Yeah, so we would listen to that religiously. So for me, radio has always been a little bit of talking, maybe some kind of prank call, and music, and then recycle and repeat, right? Rinse and repeat. So when I was introduced to Heidi and Frank, I was like, this is amazing, but. A lot of people thought I was boring for that. Yeah. And I was like, I thought this, conversation is great. I've always loved conversation. I love just the whole art of creating a conversation. For me, it's I've always loved it, right? Like just the way you can say the same word and mean different things. Always fascinated by it. So, and then Rev, his huge inspiration was Howard Stern.
And of course.
And
King of radio.
Howard Stern.
King of radio.
Howard Stern was before Heidi and Frank in there. Yeah. They have a similar premise. He's just a little bit more raunchy.
Oh, yeah.
And then
it's got that Sirius XM money, dude.
But you see how we kind of have a
thing. Or talk show type thing.
Yeah, so I still think back to this day of when we first were talking about the podcast and what we are. And how you said you hang out with a bunch of friends. And I remember there was one time some Rev came up to me and he was like, "Hey, what is our podcast about?"
And you don't know?
What do you mean? And he was like, "Well, somebody fucking asked me."
I don't know what to tell.
What to say? And then if you were to ask me now, sometimes even I forget. If you ask me now, I'd be like, I don't know. But it's only because I kind of lost what we had back then,
right?
And I'll circle around back to all this. But you ask me now, I wouldn't know. But back then, what I said, and I was reminded by the movie that he asked me, and I was like, "Well, you can tell them that it's just us hanging around, and it's a bunch of guys, it's a bunch of friends hanging around and just talking about bullshit that happens in life, like current events, stuff like that affects us, not from the whole media, what the media wants you to, but from our experience, people who are actually living through this era or whatever it is, that we're living through." And so Rev was like, "Oh, that's good. That's good." And
hold on, okay, you're ready to calm down. Just put it on the notes.
Which is how we came up with that whole the world is a place.
Which is good though, because those COVID episodes, people were kind of scared to talk about COVID, and you guys went and did it.
I have no idea. Dude, if you ask me now, I'd be like, I'm not even talking. I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, but it's because that too, though. That's the idea that you're like, oh, I like the art of conversation. I like making conversation. The people think that I generally believe that some people think we can't have a conversation because we're going to argue, but it's no, that's what a conversation is. You could say I should have worn a mask today, and I could be like, no, dude, you're fine. Yeah. But the fact that we can talk about it is what's best about it, right? Not the fact that I'm
there's some episodes where I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Right? There's some episodes where we're all wearing a mask.
Right.
Then Rev takes it off, and I still continue to wear the mask. I didn't wear the mask because I was afraid or anything. I mean, not that it matters. Everyone had their own reason.
Yeah, exactly.
For wearing mask. I kept mine on because I was using myself as an example. My titties.
You took this whole this whole stance.
High road, not the example, you know.
Hey man, and it's perfectly fine. That's noble though. Some people just wore it because they're like
stupid, bro.
Let me just me real quick off of that. You brought that up. It's funny because even now, me and my brother, well, you know, on Instagram we share a bunch of videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I started telling him, my cousin, and my friends on the group chats that I have, like, I'm sharing this shit, but I don't like it because I'm scared someone's gonna see that I like it. Yeah, there's gonna be some controversial stuff or stuff like that's not funny, and then they say that I liked it, and they're gonna associate with me like, hey, the co-host of the Heights Garage Shop talk like this, and he's into this and stuff like that. So I don't like on Instagram. I'll send a bunch of funny stuff, but I won't like any of the videos so they can't trace it back, like because I don't want people to see that I liked it or that I found it funny or stuff like that.
You see, I was very, very much like that in the beginning. I was very, very much like that. And Rev, and it's crazy because Rev used to be the more paranoid one. I was more enthusiastic about stuff, like when we did the backyard thing, like the first one.
That was really cool.
Yeah, so, dude, that one, oh my god, that one was amazing. I can't believe that we pulled it off. Even to this day, I was like, how did we do that? Like, that was crazy. But, you know, he was very okay. So like when it came to the Black Lives Matter episodes.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
So those were very, very, very touchy subjects.
Oh, they were heavy. Oh yeah.
And the reason why, because it was like, if you're not with us, you're against us, and it was like you're either all the way Black Lives Matter,
you're all in, or you're not in at all.
All the way Blue Lives, you know.
Yeah. There's no in between.
There was no in between. And it, you know, we sat down, like literally we sat. We had all the stuff ready, and before we went our episode. We're like, okay. Like, I looked at Rev and I was like, okay, this is going on in the news. There were riots. What are we going to do? And he looked at me and he was like, what do you want to do? I go, well, think about it, bro. Like, think about it. Because everybody is saying if you don't talk about it or if you don't pick a side, and you're fucking against it. Like, so what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And then he was like, well... He goes, well, what do you think? I was like, well, I'm telling you right now, Rev, if we do what I have planned for this episode, it's gonna look like we don't give a fuck because we're just fucking.
We're just going over.
We're getting catch up when we were.
I go, but we can talk about this unprepared.
I'm ready. Let's just go in, guns blazing.
What we think, and just go unprepared.
Yeah,
and go into this episode. He was like, well, what do you want to do? I go, I don't know, Rep. That's why I'm talking to you. It's like,
that's why I need your help with this.
And then he was like, okay, well, you're a good person, aren't you? I go, yeah, I'm a good person. He goes, okay, and I'm a good person. I was like, yeah. So why the fuck can't we talk about it?
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So we did.
And he brought that up on the podcast too.
We brought it up. And we did 3 episodes on it. And as much, I don't know if it reached out to a lot of people or if people felt different about it, but there was one person, her name is Leah Chapman. I don't know if you remember her.
I do remember Leah Chapman.
She came up to it.
Real quick, you know what's funny? She was cool with me. She didn't like my brother.
For whatever reason.
She told me straight up.
Yeah, I very like him either.
For whatever reason.
So if you're listening, Leah, fuck you, I guess. She's cool.
She's like,
you just haven't gotten to know him yet.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
He's a nice guy.
It's cool. Sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to she thanked me, bro. She thanked me on the side. She didn't really. Oh, if you want to be fair, she didn't like Rev. She didn't like Rev.
Wow.
She was cool with them, but she was like, Felipe, like, I love you, but please.
But your little friend over there.
She Rev the fuck away from me. I think say some stupid shit. And Rev wouldn't say some crazy shit sometimes. Anyway. So she came up and she's like, I want to thank you for talking about it, because not a lot of people were talking about it the way you were. You kind of open, like, she was like, you gave people here, like, she goes, I know your podcast is not that big, but I'm going to tell you that it does reach out to at least your circle of friends.
Yeah.
And it lets them know, like, hey, it's safe to talk about things like that, and it's okay to talk about.
Like, it's okay to disagree.
Yeah,
that's how you get past it.
Exactly,
that's how we grow.
It was okay to bring up the subject, and it was all right. Like, yeah, shit's crazy, but like, come on, let's
we're in this. We're in this together. Like, why are we gonna just let it blow over and stuff?
So she said thank you, and like, dude, so like one of a lot of my favorite episodes, are episodes that I didn't even realize people felt very strongly about, like we did a Cambodian episode for Cambodian New Year, and both Tom Selleck and our friend Peter Foll, who was on the Vegas episode.
Yeah,
you guys remember that?
That's funny too.
Good old shit ass. But yeah, he was on the episode. He came up to me after the episode we did it, and he was like, "Hey man, I want to thank you because they're both Cambodian, and they want to say, yeah, I want to thank you for doing that. Like, because I mean, honestly, I didn't even feel like I did that much research. I feel like I did the bare minimum,
right?
But they were like, "Thank you for that," because not a lot of people talk about that, you know.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite episodes. But to get a full scope of the Rev and Feel, watch the movie. It's gonna come out soon, June 18th. I would like you guys to be there too.
Oh yeah, we're there for sure. We're only gonna ask for the day off, but we wanted to ask you that too because the last time we were talking about on the podcast, we were like, yeah, they're gonna have this, and then we're like, hold on, we don't know if it's gonna be like a closed thing or like open
to the public.
Okay, so I mean, I'm sure eventually it's gonna be out there. So we'll watch it.
The premiere will be invitations,
right?
We're gonna still talk about it. There's still information that needs to come out.
No, for sure.
But we're gonna do the invitations, and then the movie will be out eventually, and we'll announce that like when it's open to everybody else to watch. But we definitely want to get close friends and family to watch it.
No,
of course.
We talked about it the last time, and we were like, oh hell yeah, we got it. Well, my brother works for the county, so he'll be able to go there. And enjoy himself. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask for the next day off, because I think you said too, things like, oh, we wanted to do it on the day and it's Juneteenth, and I was like,
it just happened. So the next day
it happened.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So it's on the 18th. So but, after pod.
Yeah. And I was telling you, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ask for the next day off, and you were like, why? It's Juneteenth. I was like, dude, I work for the white man. He doesn't care about that. He does not. So
see what happened? Decided you work on cars.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You know what? I actually found a good schedule though. I found somewhere where I work Monday through Friday and not on the weekend. So
that's what's up.
I just gotta drive far. But all right. Moving on to this. So our niche, our podcast is about cars, and we kind of like it too, or I personally kind of like it because we don't necessarily have to go on topics that heavy, which is we don't mind talking about it, but we're not here for that. One of the big ones that I actually kind of got excited about was because when I was at your house and we were talking, you brought up AI, and we were talking about AI this, AI that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this applies to the automotive industry, and I wanted to get your input. Because your input on AI was like, we're kind of similar. We were like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's a little crazy,
a little scary, but it's cool.
I'm all for it, dude. I used to be afraid of it, and I'm not anymore. But yeah, go ahead.
But so self-driving cars, that's AI. Teslas. I wanted to get your input. What do you think about that?
I think it's not ready.
It's definitely not ready.
It's not ready.
It's definitely not ready.
It's not ready. But I do see it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna, and I can't wait.
Yeah. You can't wait to not drive?
Yeah, I can't wait to not drive. See,
because that too. So I listen to a lot of car podcasts. I don't know why the TV's still running, but it's fine. But I watch a bunch of YouTube. Everything is just kind of cars, just like so I can have an idea and stay current with everything, because it's always changing. But one main topic that it always is, it's like, it's happening, it's coming. Like, we gotta be ready for it. And it's not even a matter of
the AI driving?
Yeah, it's not even a matter of what are we gonna do, or if it goes wrong. It's when it goes wrong. Like,
well, have you seen those Tesla videos of them going wrong?
Yeah, they're reading they read the lanes wrong. Yeah,
people and babies and
yeah. It's definitely not ready. But we were talking because we were just talking about AI and ChatGPT, and I was just like, okay, if Philo gets on this, like, it's gonna be fun.
Hey, let me tell you, I cannot wait for AI to take over driving. Yeah. Driving.
Not gonna make not as a whole.
And everything else, whatever. Driving. And I'll tell you why. So right now, AI, obviously it's not ready, but I don't think that should be the nip in the butt. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, and that's the problem with Congress, because the minute that they get scared, they're a bunch of old people. So they might, it might be the end of AI driving for a long time, if not forever. And I hope that doesn't happen, because a lot of technology does kind of get stopped that way. Like you have older people that are afraid, because when you get older, you start to get afraid of change and things. And I hope I'm the exception because I don't.
I'm not afraid of nothing. Yeah, I'm not afraid of nothing.
I ain't afraid of nothing. Yeah, but I don't want to be afraid of new shit because if you are, then our civilization will never advance. We never get new, cooler things.
For sure.
It's like a question we asked our friends. One day we were like, okay, it was me, Guap, and Mike, and we were like, oh, what era would you rather live in? And then Guap was like, oh, the 80s, and Mike's like 90s, and then we're like, so like the thing was like, would you want to be your age now and what year, right? So like we're in our 30s.
Yeah.
We're like, okay,
where do we want to go?
What year would you want to live in? Guap was like, I'm in the 80s. Okay, whatever, because there's no cameras, nothing, you get away with shit. Okay, whatever. Okay.
Truly be under the radar.
Mike is like the 90s. I forget what the fuck his reason for was. It maybe music, I don't know. But then they asked me, and I said, bro, fucking now. And they're like, what? I was like, now? I was like, now, bro. Like, what the fuck? We have a computer. You have a computer.
Yeah, we have a computer in your hand, bro.
No dial-up.
Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, whatever. Right now. If anything, I wish I was in my 20s. This, like, 2020.
Right.
Because then, I got a whole other... like to look forward to, or maybe I can live in the future, like
see what happens there.
Yeah, but like, bro, the now is where it's at.
Yeah,
like fucking, like I don't have to worry about like if we go to a concert, I don't have to worry about losing you.
No,
I don't have to worry about like you invited me, and I come here, I had it. They're knocking your fucking door.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, hey, I'm
knocking on the rock.
Hey, I'm outside. Yep.
That us too. Like, wait, who's here?
Yeah.
We're not expecting anybody,
bro. So like going back to the whole AI thing, I can't wait. And you know what? And there'll probably be less. There will probably be less accidents because most people, I think I don't know the statistics, but it is in the top 3, if not the top 1. Reasons people die, and it's it's because of car accidents.
Oh, for sure.
So AI would
fix that.
Yeah, it would fix
yeah.
Because that too. If it's like they're already doing it with Uber, they're already doing it with these delivery. Domino's has all that. Like, think about it. You don't have to put a delivery driver. And yes, it is. It's like, they're taking our jobs and this and that. But
trust me, I've known delivery drivers and they fucking hate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're not getting your pizza spit on for, And it is cool. And then I do like the fact that you brought up, like, if you don't want to advance with everything going on, like, you didn't say, but you're pretty much going to get left behind. And that's how it is too in the automotive industry. There's old heads that are like, oh, why are you using that electric tool? Why are you using this? Why are you using that? Just use the hand tool. And it's like, well, because you're going to be there for an hour and I'm going to be done in 15 because I have my impact gun or whatever. And it's just...
You know what I say to that? When they're like, why are you using you?
Yeah.
Well, because it's there.
It's there, right?
It's made for that.
I'm not going to put it down and do it your way and I have it this way.
Like, dude, there was a point where that tool that you had was brand new and people were like, why are you using that? Why are you using a ratchet? Use a wrench. And it's like, people don't get that. Yeah, that too. And then it's always like, I really don't like, okay, I hate when the older guys are like, oh, you use gloves? You're not a real mechanic. And it's like, yeah, dude, because I don't want to eat with oil on my hands and taste everything going on in the car.
I don't think I could do this in reused gloves.
Yeah, you see, exactly. I've heard this guy. All right, and with that, we'll catch you on the next one. We'll never be back on. No, but then that too, like I saw a video and I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. They were like, okay, everybody's saying that, not, oh, why do you use gloves, this, that, or the other. They're like, your body is like a sponge. It retains trace amounts of things. Like, why do you think some of these motherfuckers got cancer and this and that? Is because they were touching oil for 8 hours a day. It is just all in their body now.
So my grandpa used to own a shop. I don't know why.
I heard a place where you take your cars. They fix it. You get paid to do it. And
all that. It was on a shop, and he worked in cars, and the oil literally stained his nails, bro. Like black. He could never wash it off. And I always thought that was normal. And then
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then as I got older, I was like,
it's fucking gross.
Yeah, it's fucking nasty, bro.
Maybe don't pass me my food. I'll get it myself. But yeah, it's crazy. It is funny. It's crazy. There are those people like that too. Our boss is like, he'll put gloves on now, but he makes the joke like, but you guys got to put your gloves on. I didn't. And he's like, your hands are dirty. You can't touch your lady. And dude, if you look at his hands, he just has like mitts because it's just grown that callus. They're dry. He's like, dude, I could dip my hands in lotion right now, let them soak, and it just they're still gonna look like this.
That's why kids are soft nowadays. They ain't even
no callous hands, but yeah, no, it was like it's weird that people they just think like. I don't know, like, nah, I don't need that. And it's like, no, you don't need it, but it definitely helps. Like, why not? And this whole Tesla thing, too. People are taking it too far, though, with the Tesla thing. The whole, like, okay, went back to porn. I don't know if you've seen when someone put, like, oh, look, Elon Musk gives you like self-driving cars, and this is what you motherfuckers do, and it's like a girl on top of a dude. Fuck, dude, going.
That's not.
Like I said, I can't wait
for AI.
But yeah,
to run cars.
But yeah, I mean, so real basic questions too, just to move on. Terrible setup, but we're dogging on Tesla. But what would you say is your favorite car if you had to pick one? If you have one, I know some people don't.
My favorite car, honestly, favorite car is going to be a Honda Civic.
Love it.
Dude,
John Cena.
I've loved
John Cena likes Honda Civic.
Yeah, really? Oh, yeah.
He sold his Ford GT so he can get a Civic. Yeah, Civics. I mean, dude, Civics. I mean, God, Fast and the Furious really made those popular too. Johnny Tran and all that, and then the black Civics that they would pull up and steal all the like DVD players and shit from the cars.
Yeah.
But Honda Civics, they're just so reliable, and then people do so much to them and stuff. Like even on Netflix, that there's a show. What is it? That race one?
Okay.
The one where it's like the supercars versus the people who build it.
I forgot what it's called.
But it's people. They go like, okay,
they get people who have bought supercar.
Yeah,
and they race against 4 other people that build their cars from like the ground.
They do like a tournament.
And they race.
In the last episode, this dude that had a Honda Civic was like the fastest one, but he ended up breaking like 3rd gear. But everybody was like, oh look, see, Honda Civics are the way to go. Honda's the way to go. So I do like their choice. I do like your choice on a Honda Civic. Now, would you say like a hatchback, or would it just be?
No, I don't like hatchbacks. Honestly, the new ones too, I think they look really ugly. But yeah, but hey, if that's what you like,
then go ahead.
But yeah, I just like like a regular Honda Civic, maybe sport, with the sunroof.
Oh, the sunroof. You know what's crazy? You can go on like Marketplace right now and look up a '90s Honda Civic, and they're still going for like 10 grand.
Dude, I know.
It's
wow,
crazy shit.
Wow, like, I'm not gonna be able to afford it unless I pay
You're better off just buying a new one. For real. Which is fun. Our shop foreman, my buddy Roger, he actually got his Civic stolen. And we were talking about on the podcast, we're like, if you're out there, you find the Civic, and he found it, and we're like, oh, dude, how was it? And he's like, you want to know how it was? I'm like, yeah. Like, they took my fucking battery, and they took my fuel pump. They didn't take my wheels that I bought, like, my expensive wheels. They didn't take the interior. He's like, these fucking crackheads.
Where'd they find it?
It was like in a mile away in a shopping center, like in the back parking lot.
Oh,
they days later.
You said that the 3rd gear was missing, or
yeah. They didn't have gear, so he would have to go 1st, 2nd, and then just 4th, but he was like, they just took my battery and my fuel pump. Like, fuck these assholes. Like, but yeah, they're so popular, and that too. Those, okay, I don't want to say they're easy to steal, but they're pretty easy to steal.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know what it is though. The Civics, I really do love. I've loved it since
That's cool.
Yeah, since
I'm glad you're not bougie, Felipe.
Yeah. No, I
appreciate that.
No, yeah. No, actually, I want like a Benz.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, but we asked our little nephews. And he's like, I like Lamborghinis. And I'm like, dude, you're 7, bro.
Seen one in your life.
We just see a Lamborghini.
But car, I would have 6.
Yeah, I want the best. And then, if you could choose two, so you're in this Honda Civic, right? Mm-hmm. Where are you driving it to? What road? Where are you going up?
Gosh.
What would you say?
Damn, I'm not even like that, to be honest. You know what? I'd probably
get my ass home.
Going down to 10. Nah, you know what though? I would like, if I had like like reliable Civic, I would probably, if I would go to Vegas, I would probably take routes.
Take that drive.
Yeah, drive. We've actually done it a couple of times, but not. We've done it in a family trip, like in a van. Like
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. But like if I had like a nice little reliable Civic, I would probably take it down. Yeah,
go down, man.
Which is kind of weird because it's like a Japanese car.
Who cares, man? Who cares? That's what it's for. That's why they brought him over here. But so now you're going down Route 66. You're in this Honda Civic. What are you listening to? Your one song.
Woo!
What's a good cruising song for Felipe?
He's gonna tell you Felipe's age right here.
Nah.
Maybe. He's gonna look at the camera. Billie Eilish. I'm gonna stay here.
Nah. You know what I've really been into? Like I've been like I don't know what it is. Even like when I get out of work, because lately I've been working late since I've had this new job that I've got. I would probably put on Suavecito.
Oh, by Mala?
Yeah. Just driving down.
Perfect.
It's a good cruise song.
Yeah.
I see that too. A lot of people think like, oh, I want something that's gonna pump me up, but it's like, nah, dude. If you're cruising, you're just driving, something cool just to get you like, all right, in a good mood, but not like overzealous where you're just.
Yeah, that does happen to me, dude. Like I've been playing,
Metallica,
no effects, like rock songs, and it makes me want to like fucking just drive.
Let's go. But I mean, we hit 45 minutes. I know you got a tea time that you're probably gonna miss. Sorry, Mikey. Or next time, Mikey, just come along with us.
Who start calling me, but let's see.
But
thank you guys for having me on, man.
No, thank you for coming.
Where we can do it again.
Yeah, seriously, because dude, I'm sure it's hard to get guests on. People are like, oh yeah, we'll be on. Just let me know, and then you let them know, and they're like.
Yeah,
life. But
I feel it, man. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you,
guys. The Revlo or the Rev and Felipe movie. I do want to plug that in. We're gonna start hitting that hard. We're gonna start marketing that a little bit more. But yeah, dude, thank you guys for having us.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for coming. Catch the Revlo Show on Instagram. The Rev and Felipe movie. Same thing, right? It's just literally the Rev and Felipe movie. Just look at it on Instagram. I think we'll plug it into. You can catch all that. Again, they're gonna it's only for special people, so don't even worry about it. But you'll see it.
We're gonna give away.
Wait for it to be available to the public.
Yeah. We'll give away some tickets to other people. We want to make sure we get we're gonna have our VIP list, and then we're gonna have people that will give the tickets. The best case scenario is that we have to turn some people away.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get everybody in. It's going to be in Vidiots and Eagle Rock. So see you guys then, hopefully, June 18th.
For sure.
Podcast, where can we catch you?
Podcast, you're going to catch us on the Revlo Show on Spotify, and then Instagram, Revlo Show, as well as the Rev and Felipe movie on Instagram, okay? Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it. As always, guys, keep the boy hearts built.